Assalamu alaikum students, welcome back to another video. Today we will be solving Cambridge IGCSE Physics Paper 2 Variant 22 of May-June 2021. Question 1. Which piece of apparatus is the most suitable for measuring the mass of a pencil sharpener? So we know that we can use a digital balance for measuring the mass. A measuring cylinder is for volume. A Newton meter is for slightly larger masses and a ruler is for length. 4 balls with different masses are dropped from the heights shown. Air resistance may be ignored. Which ball has the smallest average speed? So in order to calculate the speed, we need to realize that the gravitational potential energy will be converting into the kinetic energy when the ball is dropped. So m and m gets cancelled. We need to make speed the subject. So this is the formula that we have. So in this formula you should put the values of h, and we can see that v and h are directly proportional. So the option where the height is the least will be your answer, and that is in A. Question 3. A ball is thrown vertically upward through the air. Air resistance acts on the ball. Which graph shows how its speed varies with time? Okay, so the ball is thrown vertically upwards. So when it is initially thrown, it will have a high speed, and then when it is about to reach its terminal, its point where its highest max point, so at this point the speed is 0, and as it reaches that point the speed slowly and gradually decreases. So initially it has high speed, then it has low speed, and then its max point it has 0 speed. But when it will be coming back down, it will have high speed, and then due to air resistance its speed will slowly decrease, and then when it reaches the bottom, it will once again have 0 speed. So keeping this in mind, when we go through the graphs, you can see that D is your correct graph, because initially we have a high speed, then our speed slowly decreases to 0 when it reaches the maximum point, and when it is coming back down, it will have a high speed, but slowly due to air resistance its speed will decrease. Question 4. What is the best description of the meaning of the mass of an object? The space occupied by the object, this is incorrect, this is the volume. The force that gravity exerts on the object, this is also incorrect, this is the weight. The resistance of the object to changes in motion, well, this is correct. Question 5. A measuring cylinder contains 40 centimeter cube of water. A stone of mass 94 grams is lowered into the water so that it is fully submerged as shown. So we can see that this value is 86. We have to calculate the density. The density formula is mass over volume. Mass we have 94 grams, and volume we can calculate by subtracting, this would be 76. So 76 minus 40 will give you the volume of the stone, which will be 36. So just plug this in your calculator and your answer will be D. Question 6. The extension load graph for a spring is shown. The unstretched length of the spring is 17 centimeters. When an object is suspended from the spring, the length of the spring is 19.2 centimeters. This means that an extension of 2.2 centimeter is occurring. So we'll go to the graph and we'll see that when is the extension 2.2 centimeters. So we can see that at this point, when the load is 3 newtons, the extension is 2.2. So D is your answer. Question 7. A satellite orbits the Earth in an anti-clockwise direction at constant speed as shown. When the satellite is in the position shown, in which direction does the resultant force act upon it? So we know that for any body that is in an orbit of any other body, in a circular orbit or in an elliptical orbit, the resultant force will always be directed towards that object, because the gravity of that object causes the satellite to be in orbit. So the gravity of the object is basically pulling the satellite towards it. So D will be the answer. Question 8. A tennis ball has a mass of 57 grams. A tennis player hits the tennis ball with a tennis racket. The tennis ball has a velocity of 25 meters per second when it hits the racket. The velocity of the tennis ball when it leaves the player's racket is 15 meters per second in the opposite direction from its approaching direction. The average force exerted by a tennis racket on the ball is 35 newtons. For how long is the tennis ball in contact with the tennis racket? So here we can use the impulse formula, which is F is equals to change in momentum over time. We need to calculate the time here. So we have the force, which is 35 newtons. Change in momentum we'll have to calculate. So mass will be 0.057 because we'll convert it into kilograms. And then the change in speed, 25 meters per second, and then 15 meters per second in the opposite direction. So delta V, the change in speed you will have as 25 minus 15. Why are we taking minus 15? Because they have told us that it is in the opposite direction. So delta V you will get as 40. So 0.057 times 40 over 35 would give you the time, and just put this in your calculator. Your answer will come out to be 0.065. Question 9. The question is about 4 methods used to produce electrical energy. Which method has a correct description? A hydroelectric power station. Energy source is renewable, yes. Emits carbon dioxide, no. So this is the correct option. A stone is released from rest from a high building on earth. Air resistance is negligible. What is its velocity when it has fallen 5 meters? So we know that when an object falls from a certain height, the change in energy is from gravitational to kinetic. So gravitational energy becomes kinetic energy. So you need to calculate the speed. So m and m gets cancelled. When you make speed the subject, you will get. So just use this formula. The value of g is 9.8 and height we have as 5. So your answer comes out to be approximately 10 meters per second. The power input to an electric motor is 400 watts. The efficiency of the motor is 85%. How much power is wasted? So the input power is 400 and the efficiency is 85%. So that means the output power is 340. So how much power is being wasted? 400 minus 340, it gives you 60 watts. A book has a mass of 400 grams. The surface of the book in contact with the table has dimensions 0.1 meters times 0.2 meters. The gravitational field strength is 10 newtons per kg. What is the pressure exerted on the table due to the book? So we have the formula: pressure is equals to force over area. Force will be the weight of the book. So weight is mass times the gravitational field strength. The 0.4 times, let's take G as 10, area 0.1 times 0.2. So when you calculate this, Your answer will be 200 newtons per meter squared. A horizontal metal plate of area 0.5 meters square lies at the bottom of a lake at a depth of 40 meters. The density of water is 1000 kilograms per meter cube and the gravitational field strength is 10 newtons per kilogram. What is the downward force acting on the plate due to the water? So once again here we'll use the formula of pressure is equals to force upon area. But here pressure we will calculate using the formula rho gh. Rho is density, g is the gravitational field strength and h is the depth. So we have all the values. Density 1000, gravitational field strength let's take as 10, height we have as 40, force we have to calculate and area we are told is 0.5. So just plug this in a calculator and your answer will come out to be 200 kilonewtons. Which law describes the forces between the molecules and the motions of the molecules in a gas? So we know that in a gas the forces between molecules is weak and the motion of molecules is that they are moving freely. So C. Very small pollen grains are suspended in water. A bright light shines from the side. When looked at through a microscope, small specks of light are seen to be moving in a random, jerky manner. What are the moving specks of light? Pollen grains being hit by other pollen grains, this is incorrect. Pollen grains being hit by water molecules, this is correct. (16) A hole is drilled in a metal plate. What happens to the length of the plate and to the diameter of the hole when the plate is cooled? So obviously when a hole is being drilled, the plate will warm up, the temperature of it will increase, and when it will cool, we know that when a metal is cooled it contracts. Contracts mean it shrinks, it becomes smaller. So the length of the plate will decrease as well as the diameter of the hole. Which statement describes a sensitive liquid in glass thermometer? So in the case of thermometers, sensitivity means that for a small increase in temperature there is a large increase in length. So going through the options you can see that D is the correct option. A block of aluminum of mass 2 kg has an initial temperature of 20 Celsius. It absorbs 7300 joules of thermal energy. The specific heat capacity of aluminum is 913 joules per kilogram Celsius. What is the final temperature of the aluminum block? So we have the formula. Energy is equals to mc delta T. Delta T is your change in temperature. Energy we are given 7300. Mass we have 2 kilograms and the specific heat capacity 913. So your change in temperature comes out to be 4. So we know that the initial temperature is 20. So once there is, so what would be the final temperature for there to be a change of 4 Celsius? So when you go through the options you will see that C is correct. 24 minus 20 will give you 4. A student sets up 4 cans. Each can contains the same mass of water at 90 degrees Celsius. The cans are identical except for the outside surfaces. Which can will cool down the fastest? So dull and black surface, this will be the correct answer because we know that dull and black surfaces are the best radiators of heat, so they will lose the heat the fastest, so the can will cool down the fastest. 20. The thermal energy is transferred by conduction in a metal bar. Which statement is not correct? Fast vibrating ions leave the surface. Well, this is incorrect because this just does not happen. It is not true. A water wave passes into a region where the wave travels more slowly. As it passes into the slow region, what happens to the frequency and what happens to the wavelength of the wave? So we know that wavelength speed is directly proportional to wavelength. When it when the wave travels slowly, the wavelength decreases. However, the frequency remains the same. So C is your answer. Light traveling at a speed of 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second strikes the surface of a glass block and undergoes refraction as it enters the block. The diagram shows a ray of this light before and after it enters the block. What is the speed of light in the glass? So we know the formula, N is equals to C over V, where C is the speed of light in air and V is the speed of light in the medium. So first we'll have to calculate N using this formula, sin I over sin R. Sin I is the incident angle, which is 55. Sin R is the refracted angle, which is 33. So N comes out to be 1.5. So in this formula just plug in N. 1.5 is equals to the speed of light in air, and then we have to calculate the speed of light in the medium. So your answer comes out to be 2 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second. Which statement about the image of an object formed in a plane mirror is correct? It is smaller than the object. This is incorrect. It is of the same size. So B is correct. You can go through the rest of the options as well. It is larger than the object. This is incorrect. It is inverted. This is also incorrect. An object is placed in front of a thin converging lens. The diagram shows the paths of two rays from the top of the object. An image of the object is formed on a screen to the right of the lens. How does this image compare with the object? So let's complete the ray diagram. So the image will be formed somewhere approximately here. This will be your image. So we can clearly see that the image is larger than the object and it is also inverted. So we can see that A is correct, larger and inverted. Here are three statements about the speed of electromagnetic waves. The speed of an electromagnetic wave in a vacuum is 340 meters per second. This is incorrect. The speed is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second in air and in vacuum. So statements 2 and 3 are correct. So C. The sound from a loudspeaker must pass through two materials to reach a microphone. Which combination of materials gives the shortest time for the sound to reach the microphone? So we know that sound travels fastest in solids and then liquids and then in gas. So in the case where both materials are solid, the sound will travel the fastest. So in option C we have copper and aluminum, so that is correct. Which method does not demagnetize a bar magnet? Heat the bar magnet and place it in the east-west direction to cool. This is correct. This will demagnetize. Place the bar magnet in the east-west direction and hammer it. This will also demagnetize. Place the bar magnet in a coil connected to an AC supply and slowly withdraw it. This will also demagnetize. Place the bar magnet in a coil connected to a DC supply and slowly withdraw it. This will have no effect on the bar magnet and it will not demagnetize. Three piles of small nails P, Q and R are placed on a bench below three electromagnets. One set of nails is made of copper, one of soft iron and one of steel. Diagram 1 shows the situation when the electromagnets are switched on. Diagram 2 shows the situation when the electromagnetics are then switched off. So we can see that in R, in this case, the nails are attracted to the magnet regardless of the fact whether the electromagnets are switched on or off. So this means that R is the strongest magnetic material, and then in the case of Q, when the electromagnetic is switched on, the nails are attracted, and when it is switched off, the nails fall down. So this tells us that Q is a moderately magnetic material, and in P we can see that the nails do not retract in either case, so P is not a magnetic material. So we know that the strongest magnetic material is steel, and Q would be soft iron and P would be copper, so A is your answer. 29. A magnet is suspended by a cotton thread. The magnet is displaced and allowed to swing freely until it comes to rest. Why does the magnet always come to rest pointing in the same direction? Let's go through the options. Because of the interaction between the electric field of the magnet and the electric field of the earth. Well, a magnet has nothing to do with the electric fields. Because of the interaction between the electric field and the magnetic field, this is also incorrect. Because of the interaction between the magnetic field of the magnet and the gravitational field of the earth, this is also incorrect. Gravitational field has nothing to do with the position of a magnet. Because of the interaction between the magnetic field of the magnet and the magnetic field of the earth, this is correct. The magnetic field of the earth will cause it to point in the same direction all the time. A student rubs a plastic rod with a cloth. The rod becomes positively charged. What has happened to the rod? Well, an object becomes positively charged when it loses electrons. So it has lost electrons. An isolated metal sphere is positively charged. It is then brought near to another isolated metal sphere that is neutral. What happens to the charges on the neutral sphere as the positively charged sphere is brought close to it? So when the positively charged sphere is brought close, we know that the negatively charged charges will move towards the left, because the positive charges will attract them, and the positive charge themselves they would not move, they would stay in position. So D is your correct answer. Which circuit has a zero reading on the ammeter? So a zero reading would be when the current does not flow throughout the circuit. So let's go through the options. Option A, the current will flow through the circuit, so A is incorrect. Let's see B. In B also there is a constant flow of current, so B also can't be. In C as well we can see that there is a constant flow, so C is also incorrect. D must be the answer, and let's just check. So when the current reaches this point, the diode will not allow the current to pass, and it will reverse the current. So the current does not complete one complete flow. So zero reading on the ammeter. Two 10 ohm resistors are connected in series and then in parallel. What is the combined resistance in each case? So we know that when resistors are connected in series, we will just add the resistances, and when they are connected in parallel, we use this formula. So C is your answer. This is not part of the syllabus anymore, so we can skip this question. 35. A solenoid is connected to a very sensitive ammeter. A rod is inserted into one end of the solenoid. The ammeter shows that there is a small electric current in the solenoid while the rod is moving. Which rod is being inserted? So there will only be a small deflection in the ammeter when a magnetic material will interact with the solenoid. So when you go through all the options, the only magnetic material here is a magnetized steel rod. The diagram shows a transformer. What is the output voltage? So we can use the formula Vp over Np, the primary voltage over the primary number of turns. This must be equals to the output voltage over the number of turns. Let's call it X. So just solve for X and your answer will come out to be 4600 volts. Question 37. Which row correctly states how nuclei behave during nuclear fission and during nuclear fusion? So we know that during fission the nuclei split apart, and during fusion the nuclei they come together and they join together. So C.
The charge on a proton is E.
What is the charge on an electron and what is the charge on a neutron? So we know that an electron is negatively charged and a neutron is neutral. It has no charge or zero charge. So D is your answer. Some radioactive nuclei decay to give new nuclei which are also radioactive. Part of a series of decays is shown. How many decays involve the emission of a beta particle? So we know that the beta particle is of this nature. There is an increase in proton. So in two cases you can see an increase in proton in these two, in the proton number. So two decays involve emission of a beta particle. And coming to the last question of this paper, the graph shows the activity of a radioactive source over a period of time. What is the half-life of the source? So we know that the half-life is the time taken for the counts to decrease by half. So 120, half of 120 is 60, and 60 counts we get at 2 minutes. So half-life is 2 minutes. So that brings us to the end of our paper. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you later.